is Tito Capote, and this is the longer version of the deck profile that I'm going to do. First of all, welcome everybody. I'm going in this video. It's going to be more of a discussion video, more of where I think the deck's going. It's going to explain card choices. It's going to be more like explaining my decisions, whereas the other video was sort of doing that, but not in as much depth and not as much explanation, I guess. So this is going to be more for videos for people who are trying to get into the deck, people who don't really like heroes and play heroes, but sort of want to hear some other opinions to see where they can go with deck building, right? And one thing that I'd like to say is I think I'm a decent player. I think I'm a good player. I play against good players and win. I go to events and do pretty well, especially since I'm playing heroes. But I, by all means, I don't think I'm the smartest person in the world or the best Yu-Gi-Oh player. So if you disagree with something, please let me know, and maybe it'll help me. Maybe it'll help others. And if I see something wrong with your logic, I'll point it out. But I'm not trying to be mean or anything. So that being said, if you guys have any questions, if you guys have anything to say, I do have a Discord that I'm trying to build up. I'm trying to build a community because I think it'd be really cool, and I want to make it a really healthy, really just like good community. One thing that I saw that I liked is if you guys know Crush Cards, they have a really cool Discord community, and I'd like to have something like that. I think it'd be really cool. So yeah, if you guys want to join the Discord, feel free. If not, you can just leave a comment, and if you have any questions about the deck, if you have any questions about any interactions, this new format, about any of the any of the matchups, I will definitely be happy to give you my opinion. And if we disagree, then I'm sorry. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to take my word as fact if you don't want to. But I do think that I know what I'm talking about, which is why I'm making this video. And that being said, let's get right into it. So first, we have the first card, and I think this is a really important card, and I feel like most hero players think that too, is 3 copies of Stratos. I see a lot of people dropping the 3rd copy of Stratos for a 3rd copy of Ferris, and I disagree with this because I think Stratos is just overall the better normal summon, especially once the back row in Cashier is really strong, the field spell is insane, cards like decks like Branded Bestial are going to be really good this format, which all have back row that are really good, and I know because I have a friend who plays it, and their back row is really good, and there's going to be a lot of cards with back row, and you can benefit with Stratos because not only is he a pop, but a search, but he is also a non-targeting pop for your opponent's spell cards, or spells and traps, which is so important. That people don't realize they can do, but yes, Stratos can pop spells and traps if there is another hero monster on field, which you can do very easily. Even if you just do this Ferris line and end on the 2 increase in Vion and then normal summon Stratos to pop your opponent's spells, that works. They will not expect it. Trust me, I know, because I've done it so many times and it's won me a lot of games. Then we have Liquid Soldier. The reason I play Liquid Soldier is, one, he's a really strong normal summon late game when you're running out of resources and you need something like an extra search or an extra mash change just to get a big monster. It's really good, and it's important to play. I only play it at 1 because I don't think it's as strong a normal summon as other cards in this deck, but also because it's searchable, because yeah. But the main reason I play this is not for that. If it were only that, I would honestly switch it out for another card because it's not the best. The best thing that I think you can do with this is not even summon Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is fine, but he's not like the best thing that I can do anymore. I think the best thing you can do with Liquid Soldier is sort of get into your plays. And how do you do that? It is with a resource loop that you can have with Liquid Soldier, which is the draw 2, discard 1 he has. When he's used his fusion materials, you can draw 2 and discard 1, which is really good when you have no cards or maybe just even nothing to extend, but you only have a Vion normal summon, which you can dump Shadow Mist, search this, banish Shadow Mist for Poly with Vion, and then go into Sunrise, which gets you a draw 2 and a Miracle Fusion, which if you don't draw in your other stuff, you can sit on Sunrise and whatever else to try to get them to not be able to kill you, and then go for a draw 2 the next turn. It's really good late game. It's really good early game when you draw into nothing, and then it helps you draw into your starters, into your Fusion Destiny, which is at 3, so it's a lot easier for you to see. It's just really good in corner cases, which is why I love playing it. I think that is the most important thing right now with him. Not even the absolute zero, it's just the fact that you can draw 2, discard 1. Then we have Shadow Mist. Shadow Mist, I like playing at 2 because I only really like playing as much Shadow Mist as I play Vion, because that's the only time he's really useful. Again, you can summon him more easily now with what's it called, Ian Shuffle, but I think that he's not as good as he used to be. And again, I'd never playing F3 because opening 2 of this is the absolute worst feeling. Actually, no, opening 2 Malicious is the worst feeling, but this is close second. So 2 Shadow Mist, you get a search, you get a mass change if he's special summoned. All around good, but I don't think he should play it at 3. Then we have 2 Ferris. I already gave you my reasoning why I like 3 Stratos over 3 Ferris. And again, Ferris is searchable with Stratos. So if you just summon Stratos with like a hero lives, and then if you have another Stratos, or you can search another Stratos later on in the turn and normal summon him, which is what I like doing because you get an extra monster on the field. I think that's why Stratos is more important to play, because later on, if you do that, you still have a Stratos in deck to be able to search or be able to use, which is something that you can't do if you're only playing an M2. I think he's too powerful not to play at 3, and I think Ferris is kind of rough sometimes, especially when it's a very interruptible combo. You know, I think going for the starters is a little bit more important right now. Then we have 2 Vion. This is a really good starter, but I still think the Stratos is better. Vion is, you can't do anything on his own, but Stratos can, which is why I think it's better. But what this does is it dumps a card from your deck to your graveyard, then banishes a card to add Poly, which is really good. And he's the ending of the Ferris line, which is great. But I wouldn't play 3 because I'd rather see other things. And again, this isn't once per turn, so this is once per turn. Sorry, it is once per turn, and Stratos isn't. That's something I forgot to mention as well. Then we have the 1 increase. I do not want to play 2 increase. I don't like it, okay? If you want to play 2 increase, go ahead. You can cut anything else in the deck. I really don't care if you do. I'm just saying I don't like it because this card is awful when you open it. And if you open it at 2, like, it's just a dead card. It's basically nothing. You don't even want to discard it because you'd rather discard other things. Like, you can discard it if you have nothing else in your hand, but at that point, like, yeah, I'd rather it be a Shadow Mist or something, you know? Then we have Plasma. This is probably going to be the main boss monster you go into this format, because Darklaw, although it hurts Bystial sometimes side decks in the Dimension Shifter, so they can play through it, which is like why would you even do that at that point? Then against Sword Soul, it doesn't do all that much. It stops the Tenyis, but the Sword Souls can still do their stuff, except for Taya, because against Kashtira, it's literally helping your opponent. You literally help your opponent when you play Darklaw, and why would you do that? It does rip a card out of their hand sometimes, but Plasma is just better because it hurts Kashtira, it hurts Branded, and it hurts Sword Soul a lot. And with DPE, like, people are going to be maining Lava Golem because of Kashtira, but if you get Lava Golem, there's really nothing you can do. You do not want to summon Plasma on his own because he's a weenie. Look, he's 1900. They made my hero cards so weak. When they're heroes, heroes should be strong. But anyway, that's whatever. Then we have 2 Destiny Hero Malicious. I think Malicious is great. There's no reason why you shouldn't play 2 because he's useless when you play him at 1, and he's one of the best cards in your deck. But playing him at 3 would be great. So sucks that it didn't happen this ban list, but I don't think it's ever going to happen because they're scared of Dark Heroes. Then we have Denier. Denier is basically the 3rd copy of Malicious, and why I don't think it's ever going to come off the ban list at 3. Because this card's a thing, and this is basically... Honestly, I think getting this was better than the 3rd copy of Malicious because it can recycle your Malicious, it can summon itself back once per duel. It's pretty good. Then we have the Dark Angel. The reason I'm still playing Dark Angel, even though it does stuff to Kashtira, but they can just tribute over it, so it's like not even really that bad. Sorry, I dropped my thing. But the reason I like Dark Angel is because it actually kills Despia Brand. Well, it doesn't. If they have a Bystial in hand, they could probably just normal summon over it. But again, that's one Bystial that they can't use because they normal summon. And then they use their normal summon on something that could have been an Aluber or something that could have been a Kit or a... what's it called? Albaz that could have done something to your monster, you know? Dark Angel is just really good against them, so I think it's worth main decking just because of that. What this does, if you don't know, I think hero players should know, but if you're new to the deck, what the card does is that it basically makes it so your opponent can't. Spell cards they activate are negated, even stuff like Super Poly. The only thing that it does is that it does open up the. If you do go for Dark Law, Dark Angel, which is usually what you do, it does open up the Forbidden Droplets. But I think that's fine, especially this format, because Cashier is the main name of the game that people are scared of. So they're going to be not maining Forbidden Droplets. Maybe side decking, but even then, I don't think so. So I think your Dark Angel is going to be safe because that's basically the only spell card that's out that outs it. And if not, they have to use a normal summon to either link it off or tribute over it, which is either use their normal summon to clear it. That's absolutely fine. You still got Dark Law and DPE. Then we have Evil Hero Dusted Gold. I see a lot of people cutting this from their list, but I think the Evil Hero Dusted Gold and the Dark Clawing are worth playing, especially because they're so powerful as comeback. Like people think that yeah, you're not going to go with to like turn 3 or whatever, but that's not true with heroes. Basically, the way heroes is now is that you use turn 1 to basically set up a board that can stall out your opponent, and then you do what heroes does best: you OTK the next go. And with DPE, with Plasma or Dark Law, that's still really really a good board, especially because DPE reduces attack and just makes Plasma and Dark Law so much better. But having this as backup, having this as a way to bait out an engage, bait out an effect because they have to deal with your Bane, it's so good just as that I think it's worth running, because even if you don't think Bane is a good card, your opponent is going to be scared of it, and there are very few cards that are over 3,000, or if you have him out with DPE, then that's even better because he just becomes more powerful. But I think it's worth running, even if it just baits out a negate or baits out a card. I think it's just worth it. Then we have Honest Neos. I think this is a really good card. It basically either protects your monster or gets over a problem monster. And the more important thing is that is another level 7 or higher hero monster that you can use for the fusion summon of DP. So if they banish your Malicious for some reason because they're playing Bestials, or if they banish your DPE and you want to go into another one, then you just use that as Fusion Destiny. It makes it so your second Fusion Destiny is live as opposed to not being with another card. Then we have the another tech card that I have for the deck, which is 2 Nibiru. You need to know that Nibiru basically poops on Kashtira and is very impactful for Bestial Branded, as well as Sword Soul, because unless Sword Soul goes into the Baron, which I've realized that they don't even do too often anymore because it's sort of hard to just be good on one negate, as opposed to Cheng Ying, which just stays on the board and is hard to get rid of. And is a very powerful interruption as well. Nibiru is just all around good to clear stuff, and I'm not playing 3 first because this deck aims to go first, but I am playing it because if you do end up going second, this is really good to open. And for another reason that I'm going to get into later. I'm not being mean, I'm just saying it's more important to explain that card first. Then we have Dark Calling to go into Bane. We have the Miracle Fusion. This is what you add off of Sunrise to go into the advantage. Either continue the advantage loop on the next turn, or go into Absolute Zero if you want to clear something. Then we have 1 Rhoda, because this is a really good card. It just searches a warrior, which all your deck is. Then we have 2 Imperm. I think Imperm is going to be really good this format. It just stops things, but more importantly, it protects you. It makes it so you basically either trades for a negate on when you're going second, or it makes it so you blank an opponent's monster effect going second. So I recommend that if you do play Imperm in your deck, that you don't use it to interrupt your opponent, that you use it to sort of stop something like the Kashtira big Xyz monster. You just, in draw phase, you just go wah, and then they go then I'm playing 3 copies of Crossout Designator. I think this is really important when you are playing a deck like Heroes, which loses to the same things as the meta decks lose to. Your deck is really weak against heroes, it's really weak against, not really weak against heroes. So the deck is really bad against Nibiru because it hard loses to it. Yeah, you can open a DP, but if they're also playing Bestials like Branded Bestial and Dragon Link are going to be, as well as Nibiru, because Dragon Link and those I've are probably going to main deck Nibiru just for Kashtira. This is really important because this makes it so that your Nibiru, the Nibiru, is not live, and that is also the reason why I'm playing 2 Nibiru, because I don't think 3 is the best thing for going first, and I'm not playing 1 because you need this to resolve. Everyone's gonna have Nibiru. Yeah, it's really important to make it so that you don't get Nibiru'd. And this basically just negates it for the turn, which is really good. You still have to worry about it in turn 3, but you can OTK with under 5 summons when you already have monsters on the field. Then Ian Shuffle, I think Ian Shuffle is a lot less important than the last format, so I'm only playing 2 of it. It does make it so you can use your Stratos when you open something like no starters, like and a Shadow Mist or a Liquid Soldier. It basically makes it so that you're normal summoning Stratos instead of Shadow Mist or Liquid Soldier, or maybe you just want the Liquid Soldier for the draw too, and that you can use it for that. Same reason why I'm only playing 2 Emergency Call. I still think it's really good for finding your starters and your extenders, as well as Honest Neos if you need to, but I don't think it's as good as before because the getting into Dark Law is not as important because it's just not the best this format, whereas Plasma is. Then we've got 3 Fusion Destiny. This summons out your DPE. It's an amazing extender. It's amazing bait to just go for the Sunrise line, get interrupted, and then your opponent thinks you have nothing, and then you just go full combo with Fusion Destiny. I think that's amazing. Then we have 3 A Hero Lives. This card is still too good not to play, but it kind of sucks because the card is really good, but it does cost half your life points, and when most of the monsters in the format are 2,500, it's kind of rough. But it's the best sort of special summon from deck that we have, so we gotta deal with it. Then we have 3 Mass Change. Going into Dark Law still isn't the worst, especially when you're going for OTK. You have a Dark Monster and you just go extra 2,400. That's just really good. It helps up clear up into OTK, or if you go into Absolute Zero just to clear their board and everything. It's not bad. Then we have 2 Poly. The reason I play 2 Poly is because I think it's really good for recovery. I think it's a lot better going for just normal summon Vion instead of going through a bunch of hoops to special summon Wonder Driver. Then let's go into the extra deck. So I am playing the Neos stuff that I played in the last list in the side deck. So I'm playing 1 Marine Dolphin because I think it might be good against some decks. I think it's especially good against decks that play Bestials. Not decks that play Nibiru because Nibiru is 3,000 and Neos is 25. But this is just really good for clearing out Bestials as the first thing to do. So your normal summon Stratos, you go Eon Shuffle into Spirit of Neos, and then rip a Bestial out of their hands. And then you get to know the contents of your hand, so you know what to play around. So if they're playing Kashtira, you can get a Kashtira out of their hand, and then see what they have, and that they're playing Kashtira, so you don't go for Dark Law, you actually go for Plasma. Then Escuriato is actually supposed to be Dystopia. So what Dystopia does is if his attack is different than his original attack, you can change his attack back to its original attack, pop a card on the field targeting, and when he's summoned, he can burn your opponent for as much damage as the attack of a level 1 to 4 Destiny hero in your graveyard. This is, whatever his name is here for time because we need an out to time. I've lost so many times in time because of stupid decks that take too long to play, and I got upset, so I'm playing this now. Then we have Wonder Driver. I did say it kind of sucks, but it's still good to have in corner cases, you know. Then we have Malicious Bane. I think he's really good. He clears the board. He's 3,000 attack that can't be destroyed. It's just a hard card to out, and it at least demands a response from your opponent. This card is really bad, but I still think it's good to play it because sometimes you don't have enough for OTK, and this, with all the... you at least send something like 6 to 8 heroes with your normal combo into your graveyard, so you're gaining either 600 for each monster it points to as well as itself. So that's a total of 2,400 extra attack. With minimum and maximum, it's a total of 3,200 extra attack to your monsters, and it helps get over stuff. It helps deal piercing. It's just useful, but not that good. It's a weird card. Then we have Acid. It's another card that's like there because it comes up sometimes, and you don't really, you can't. This deck locks you into heroes, which makes it so you can't play a lot of the cards that you can normally play in other decks. That just make it better. But Acid is here for back row if you get out Absolute Zero. Blast is here to dodge Imperm, which I think, or to get rid of field spells or continuous spells going when you just have extra mass changes or extra stuff, which is good because it's a quick effect. You only pay life points to do it. It's good. And yeah, then we have two Dark Claw. I have two Dark Claw here. I just messed up my deck doing the last video. Two Dark Claw because he's still a really good monster and he still wins against a lot of decks, so he's just useful to have. Then we have the Sunrise line, which is Sunrise and Absolute Zero. I think these are important, not so much for OTK and not so much for the reasons they were before. Like I said, the resource loop is really powerful, especially when you open crap and you just need to get into cards. It makes it so you at least end on something, or even go full combo in a time where you wouldn't be able to, which I think is really important. Then Cross Crusader is the best extender, unfortunately, in this deck, because this guy sucks. He locks you into stuff, and he's just bad. But he's the best we got, so we gotta play him. Then we have two DPE. Everyone's still going to be banishing stuff, still going to be playing Bestial, still going to be being jerks, so we have to play two because this is a really strong card and you can make it really easily a second time. So I won you. And that is the deck. I really hope you guys enjoyed because I worked hard on this. I spent like whole 4 hours like building the deck, thinking about everything, and then I tested it out against a few games of the new Cashier deck, against a few games of Branded Despia, and a few games of Sword Soul, which I have people I know who play. And it worked well. It worked good. I think it's a decent hero deck that can get you started if you want to change things. I encourage that. Everyone has their own style of playing, and I don't want to ruin that because you just think that, like, oh, this guy on YouTube knows what he's talking about. No, you also might know what you're talking about. Your locals might be different. Someone might be playing some crazy jank that actually works, and we don't know the format yet, you know? So this is just what I think is going to be good. This is what I found was going to be good. But again, something like Danger Tier could happen where no one expects it, and it comes out of nowhere, and then none of this matters. But anyway, if you guys have questions, leave comments in the description below, or no, leave comments down below, or if or in the Discord, and I'm gonna leave a link to the shorter video down below, and if you guys want to watch that, yeah. But anyway, if you hope you have a great day. My cat has a new favorite spot, and that is anywhere in the bathtub. She just likes the bathtub. I don't know why. She's out of it now, but she was in there for like a solid 30 minutes.